I'm here following the exoneration ceremony for Chief Poundmaker with former Chief of the Poundmaker Cree Nation, Blaine Favel. Chief, how does it feel to be here today?
It was an incredible day today. I think that it was emotional. It was over a century in coming, and it was justice. It was I think Martin Luther King says the long arc of justice is of history turns to justice, and we saw that here today. Right? Is that we've had a lot of history, and a lot of incorrect history, and history that really Canada came to accept as fact. And but we always had our voice, and our voice was didn't happen that way. And in fact, we're proven to be today that we're correct, right? And our chief actually was a great Canadian, and that there's a part of the thing that really sucks about colonialism is that for you guys, or for non-Indian people, you only hear one side of history, and it's kind of a boring side of history because we have some great characters and some great leaders and great warriors that are part of this land. We've been here forever, right? So if this does anything for even one Saskatchewan person, is just to think that, you know, this history, there are people, are proud people, are good people, and this land is, we're not separate from it. We still own it, and we still believe we own it, and it's part of our spiritual world, the water. And that I think that non-Indigenous Canadians can learn a lot from Indigenous Canadians, I think, sometimes. And so what this shows is that our history is valid, and our history, we weren't telling the truth, and we weren't always treated fairly by Canada. Like, Canada is not a Boy Scout. In Canada, there's some hard things. They came here to kill all our people. And then they were unsuccessful, and then they got beat in a battle, and then they lied about it, and then they put our chief in jail. Like, come on, that's what happened, right? And then so now, 100 years later, you know, we're hearing the truth about that.
You and others have worked on this for decades.
Right.
Did you think that this day would come? Were you optimistic, or were there times where you weren't so much?
Well, they said no first, right? The first time we asked them, they said no because they said it would be too many implications. Which is like, the implications were like, well, you lied and we didn't, right? But yeah, they're for sure. And then when the 100th anniversary of Canada happened, and we just felt like come on, like, you know, tell our story, right? And so we started an online petition. We had about 7,000 people sign an online petition that was designed by some IT specialists from around the world. And we started lobbying the government, and then we heard from them about 18 months ago that they're prepared to do this. And then we've just waited for the right occasion. And they've offered to send ministers, they've offered to send other people, but we wanted the Prime Minister, and we thought that and it was the right thing. It was right to wait for him.
You and others have said that you appreciate what happened here today, but that this isn't the end of it, that there's more to do. What do you mean by that?
Like, when you have as much unemployment and much poverty and social conditions that we all have to live in as Canadians, involving Indigenous people, we all have work to do, right? We have to put more people in school. We have to have better paying jobs for people. We have to give people a chance for quality of life. And I think what events like this demonstrate is for Canadians to say, like, how come Canadians have it so hard? Well, you know what? All of these big roadblocks were set up in front of us to keep us poor and away. And so we have to work extremely hard to get rid of those roadblocks and just try and get along and build economies, societies, institutions together where, you know, Indigenous values and history are reflected and they're not shunned. And I think that just make the country just a richer place and a better mosaic.